Hi, and welcome to episode 10 of Can I Be Honest with Megan Coleman. On today's episode, I sit down with Brooke Matsui. She is a mother of 3 girls. She had her first daughter when she was just 17 years old and a junior in high school. She talks to me about what that was like and then how she reconnected with her now husband, Michael, and they added their 2 daughters, Jane and Reagan, to the family. Although Brooke and I went to school together, there was so much about her story that shocked me, and we had a lot of fun catching up and just talking about life as moms. So I hope you enjoy. So, we went to high school together. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I was a senior, you were a junior when you got pregnant with Olivia,
yes,
correct? Okay.
Correct.
So I'm assuming you want to start there, but start wherever you want.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Okay.
So, yes, I was 17 when I got pregnant. I was shocked.
Yeah.
A lot of denial.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you know, we were just kids.
Yeah.
And so, for actually 5 months, I kind of had a feeling. Actually, no, 4 months. I had a feeling that I could be pregnant. But I was still kind of like spotting.
Okay.
But I was so busy with school and dance and work and all this stuff. Like, I was just in such denial. Like, no, that's not possible.
Yeah.
And finally, something told me, like, go get checked. And I didn't even buy a pregnancy test. I went to Kaiser Pediatrics. I know it's so weird to say pediatrics because you take your kids there and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I did. And I just went up to them and said, you know, I think I might be pregnant. Is there someone I could talk to? And right away, they had a resource for me.
Oh, good.
And I know, I wish I could remember her name because she was just so helpful and someone was there. And like, okay, well, it's time, let's take a test. And sure enough, right away, you're pregnant. And at the time, I'm like, I don't even really know how far along I am. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so she referred me over to this place called Sacramento Life Center, which is right across the street from Kaiser. And I set up an appointment. I went, and it's like one of those places where they talk about your options. Yeah. And I went and got an ultrasound done, and she's like, can't really determine how far along you are, but you're pretty far along.
Were you by yourself?
I think Justin went with me.
Okay.
I remember we went over all the options and stuff like that. We both like agreed on what we would want.
Yeah. And how long were you guys together before you found out?
6 months.
Okay.
So not very long.
Yeah.
But I have known him a long time.
Yeah.
We went to elementary school together, junior high school. And so when she told me, like, you're pretty far along, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I need to tell my parents. And right when I found out I was pregnant, my parents were going through a divorce. So it was literally, I found out I was pregnant the day after I found out my parents were splitting. So it was like such a hard time, you know?
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to tell them because, like, I didn't even know how to react to that situation.
Yeah.
And so I waited a month till I finally told my parents. So at that time, I was close to 6 months pregnant. I was 6 months pregnant when I told my parents that I was.
So were you showing?
Barely.
Yeah.
I think I started showing then.
Yeah.
And so my work actually noticed first. Well, I was just a little carry out at a little grocery store, and you know, I was tiny.
Yeah.
And they're like, they didn't ask me, but it was kind of along those lines. Like, are you doing things you probably shouldn't be doing? Kind of overworking, lifting stuff. And I'm just kind of like, I'm pregnant. And I just started crying. And then I'm like, my parents don't even know yet. And so I think days after that is when I finally told my dad.
Yeah.
And I told my dad first. I was living with him. My mom had moved out. And I didn't tell him in like the most sincere way, but I left a note.
Oh my god.
I left a note. I don't do well with like face-to-face stuff. Like, I just don't. I mean, I've gotten better over the years, but at that time I'm like, 17. I don't even know how he's gonna react. Like, what's gonna happen? And so I left a note, and I remember getting a text message like, we need to talk. Like, what are you doing? Like,
were you like at school? Like what?
I was at work.
Oh my god.
And so he's like, have you told your mom yet? I'm like, no, I haven't told my mom yet. And so he actually told my mom. Yeah. And so my mom was just so sad that I like couldn't come to them, and so upset that I felt like I couldn't. So it was more like they weren't upset with me. They were disappointed. Like, you're a kid. What are you going to do? Where's your life going to end up? And I basically said, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it work. Yeah. And I kept telling my dad that, because his question was like, what about college? What about work? What about college? I'm like, I'm going to make it work. And so my mom, she was just like, why didn't you come to me sooner? I'm like, well, I didn't really have an official test till I was like 4.5 months pregnant. Yeah. And so that was that. And after that, obviously, I had to make some changes. Yeah. And this was like going into my senior year. And I was starting the show, and you know how high school is. Like, not everyone's the nicest. Yeah. And so, I mean, I had a great support system with my close friends.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was going to school with you. Yeah. And I'm like...
Because I was like definitely starting to show that. I'm like, it just... You know how it goes. You don't show, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like a balloon. And I did not want to go there anymore. So I made a choice to go to independent study. And at the time, I was like, well, I'm not sure if I want to come back after the baby or if I can come back after the baby. So in order for me to possibly come back, I had to save at least one academic class. And so I decided to go to independent study. I did like my history, but you know how like history is broken down in government and econ? So I saved my econ. So I just did my government. That was in October I started going. And so I went throughout my pregnancy, and then had her right before Christmas. And we had Christmas break, and as soon as we went back to school, Brooke's back. So I did decide to go back.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I had not very much time off at all. And looking back, not much time. I only took 6 weeks off of work. So I was back to work. I mean, I wasn't working crazy hours.
Right, but
still. Yeah. My grandparents actually were like a huge help, because they're like most of the reason why I was able to go back, because they watched her. Yeah. So Justin and I kind of worked it out, like, I'm going to take first period off, I'm going to take fourth period off, grandparents will only have to watch her for 2 whatever, and so it all just worked out.
That's so crazy. As teenagers, you had to like decide that.
We had to make all these decisions.
And you were together.
We were together, and we did whatever was best for, you know, us and Olivia. And it all worked out. It was good.
Yeah. So you and Olivia lived with your dad, and then Justin was home with his parents.
Lived with me. Oh. Yeah. He had moved in with me. And so we were together, I can't really remember, but I want to say like a good year after she was born. And then we decided to go our separate ways. We just weren't getting along.
Yeah.
I was...
Kids still.
The kids and...
No, I mean your kids. Oh. Yeah.
We were kids. And we don't know what we really want. And
then to throw a baby in the car. I'm just like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. And I was still working for the same job, and he was playing baseball, so busy with that. Kind of like drifted. And it was really hard at first. Yeah. Like trying to co-parent and trying to, you know, be there for one another. Yeah. But took quite a few years for us to really have that relationship. We split up at Chili's.
Was it like mature? Like it sounds like you were mature about it. Yeah.
It was mature. Like we both sat down and we're just like, we're both not happy.
Yeah.
It's not working.
So did he move back in with his parents?
Yeah, he moved in with his dad.
And then you split time, or how did that work?
Kind of, because of our schedules. Kind of just like whoever ended up having her. Like when I would go to work, I'd drop her off to him. So it's just one of those things.
You just had a lot of help.
Yeah, a lot of help.
Yeah.
His mom was a huge help. When Olivia was just a baby and we were together, when we weren't getting any sleep, like we didn't know what to do, she took over.
So a few years went by and you guys kind of got on like a better schedule? Is it like split time?
Yeah, so we're both 50-50 with her. Okay. And it's been good. At first it was really hard because I definitely had her more than 50% of the time, and like some weeks like same for him. Yeah. And so having to share, and like I had these papers telling me I have to share, that pissed me off. Yeah, I can imagine. That pissed me off. But
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Yeah. So it got better. And like when I want her on one of his days, especially now, no problem. Yeah. If he wants her on one of my days, no problem. So we just have that relationship where we can co-parent.
That's good.
It definitely took quite a few years to get there. I mean, I was probably difficult to deal with. I'm not gonna lie, but I still am. Still can be. Not more so towards him, but like towards Michael. Oh yeah. And so this is just me. This is how I see things, and I'm gonna say it.
So then you want to walk me through meeting Michael and reconnecting with Michael, right?
And reconnecting with Michael.
Yeah.
So we met in high school, and he was cool. Never really a guy I would date. He was always so nice. Yeah. Like, I was always so nice to him. He was always so nice.
You guys were friends in high school?
Acquaintances, yeah. But I just remember him walking by me, hi, Brooke, and he'd be wearing, like, his little camo pants and his, like, weird t-shirts. And yeah, so he was that guy. Yeah, and this is how we reconnected. So I was at Target one day, and I'm with Olivia. I just got done with the gym. Like, my hair's on top of my head, and we're in the little art section, and we're kind of looking, and I look up, and I see this guy. I look back down. He was, like, in his dress blues. I look back up. I'm like, Sonny? Is that you? He had lost probably 100 pounds.
Oh, my God.
You couldn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
Because he went to boot camp and lost all this weight, but I didn't know that at the time. But he lost 100 pounds at least. Yeah. And it was just a totally different person you were looking at.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in high school that that's the reason why I would not date him. He just wasn't my type.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, I just graduated from boot camp. I'm trying to recruit people. And he had a boy with him that he was trying to recruit. And he was stationed in San Diego. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And so later that night, he Facebooked me. Yeah. And so we kind of were talking on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And his grandmother was unfortunately passing. And so he was planning on coming home. And so that was in September. And he came home, and he asked me to go on a date. And so we went on a date. It was awful. He talked way too much. And he was so nice. Yeah. But he talked way too much. And he only talked about the past. And I was like, I don't want to talk about the past. Yeah. Like, I don't want to talk about high school. Yeah. I want to talk about now. Yeah. And, like, what are you doing? Obviously, crazy things. And what am I doing? Almost the same. But yeah. Let's talk about the now. And so I left that date kind of feeling like, I'm not really into him. Yeah. And it was a couple weeks later, he just, like, kept talking to me. I'm like, maybe he really likes me, you know? Like, most guys just go away. Yeah, go away, you know, if they notice a girl is giving them the cold shoulder. Yeah. And so I'm like, maybe I'll give this another shot. And so I started talking to him again. And at that time, he had just moved to Virginia. And he invited me to the Marine Corps Ball. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. Like, it's in Virginia. Yeah. And I have my daughter. Yeah. I don't know. And we're not, like, together. Yeah. But that might be kind of fun. Yeah. And so I bought a plane ticket, and I went to Virginia. And it was good. I didn't like him. Like, I still don't like this guy. I don't know what it is, but I don't like him. And so I went back home again. I don't know about this guy. Yeah. And so I started talking to my friend Kelly's mom. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, I think I'm just afraid because he's so nice. Yeah. And I'm not used to that. Well, Justin was nice. But in between, like, the dating, in between Justin and Michael, I didn't date very nice guys. Yeah. And so I think I was just kind of, like, set, you know, I'm going to be alone, I'm going to be a single mom and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like, pity stuff. Yeah. And so I reached back out to him, and that's exactly what I told him. Like, I am so sorry for my behavior because I was not very nice about it. Oh. I'm just kind of like, no, not into you, bye. And I basically just told him, you know, I think I'm just afraid because you're so nice. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. And ever since then, we've been together. Together, married, 2 kids. So I went from 1 to 3. Pretty much. Really fast. Fast. Yeah. I knew I wanted 1 more, and it was kind of a surprise, but at the same time we weren't preventing our 3rd. I was just kind of like, I want them close in age. Yeah, so whenever it happens. Because Olivia was so much older than them. 7 years. So that was basically restarting.
So he was in the Marines when you met him. Is he still in the Marines?
No.
Okay.
He actually finished. He finished 6 years, and then he got out, and he was trying to get into the Academy for Law Enforcement. And he applied for CHP and Sac Sheriff. And at the time, he was kind of like going through interviews and all this stuff, but nothing was permanent. He basically came home with no job. And a week after he was home, he got the phone call that he was accepted into the Sac Sheriff's Academy. And it was a paid position. So they only choose 10 recruits, however you say it, to get paid positions.
Oh, wow.
So that was huge.
Yeah.
And so his dreams were like made. The day after he got the call from Sac Sheriff, he got a call from CHP. We want to offer you a paid position. And it's like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
And so the only bad part, CHP makes more, but they travel. And I can't take Olivia. Like, he has Olivia.
Oh, like they travel, like he would be relocated.
He would be relocated, yeah, sorry. And that's just something, he's like, I can't leave them. Brooke's a package deal. Yeah. It's not just Brooke. Like, if it had just been me, let's do it. Yeah. Let's move. But, sorry. So he took the offer from Sac Sheriff, and he's been with them for two and a half years. And it's been good, but it's hard.
Is it scary?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now he's in the jail. So he's not like out on the streets. Scary. They are a little crazy. Like the stories he tells me, I'm like, they're crazy.
I mean, I guess they don't have any weapons, but jeez.
They have their hands. They're strong. Yeah.
Right? Like,
I don't know.
Terrifying.
No, it's scary. I did a jail tour and it was insane. Yeah. But so
he's just in the jail.
He's in the jail. So he works for the sheriff's department. Yeah. And he loves it. But it's really hard, like, on us because he's gone, like, all night. Yeah. And so...
And then does he sleep all day?
Yeah. And so we're literally on opposite schedules. And when I had Reagan, he went back to work after she was only, like, a month old. And I just remember, like, this bitter feeling, like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot do this alone. I can't do this alone. And he, literally, when I go to work, we wave to each other. It's like that. And then I won't see him, and then he'll go to work, and then I'll come home from work. So it's, like, really hard on us. But we always make it work, and I'm angry about him working nights, but I'd rather have him work days. But yeah, so when he went back to work when Reagan was 4 weeks old, that was super hard because she was extremely colic. Yeah. And I'm talking all day, all night screaming and just this pain and gosh. And it was, I remember his first day back when he had to go, I called him and I was like, I cannot do this. Yeah. And so he was like, Brooke, you just gotta be strong. You gotta pull through. I'm at work right now. I don't need this, especially because I'm under a lot of pressure at work. He's around inmates. He's like, I can't have this on my mind. I'm like, I am seriously just, I cannot do this. Yeah. Listening to that scream, and I had listened to it all day long. I'm exhausted. Yeah. And so he came home. And after that, we're like, we need to figure this out. Yeah. And so we realized there's nothing we can do. She's going to grow out of it. And I had to come to terms with that. I'm like, however long this will last. I heard people say 6 months. I heard people say a year. Yep. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it lasted 7 months for us. And I was working. He was working. Working. She didn't sleep. Yeah. Cry. Yeah. And that was hard. I think that was probably the second hardest time in my life compared to, like, next to Olivia's. My pregnancy with Olivia. Okay.
Yeah. Oliver was super colicky too, and being our kids were so close together, and which same with yours. Which we'll go back to the timeline because we haven't even talked about when you had your other children. But anyway, I had those same conversations with Peter, calling him and being like, I actually can't do this. You have to come home. And same thing, he would be like, I mean, he doesn't work at the jail, but he would be like, I am very stressed. Yeah. I can't leave. Like, I'm sorry, but I cannot help you right now. And I was just like, When you say that out loud, like, I actually cannot do this. Like, I don't think people understand how much it takes you to get to that point as a mom to say, I can't.
Yeah.
You know? And so people are just like, be strong.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
Like, you know how much it took me to say I can't do this. So anyways, I
really
get what
mean
you're saying. Yeah.
You're like, when it's not your first rodeo too, you're like they weren't like this. They weren't like her, okay?
Something is wrong with this one.
Something is wrong with her. No, but that was,
tough, So, how long were you and Michael together before you got married?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long were you married before you had Jane? Within the first year, you got
Within
pregnant.
the first year.
Yeah. You got pregnant and had Jane, and then they're only... How many months apart?
Jane and Reagan?
14.
Super close. I know. My poor Jane, I'm not even talking about her.
She's middle child.
She's my wild child.
She's so cute. So that means, let me do some math if I can. She was 5 months old when you got...
5 months. Are you even supposed to?
I was, what are you even doing? Like, I didn't look at him for like a year and a half.
I know, I'm like, how did this even happen? That's when I should have been in denial.
Right? No.
It's impossible.
Yeah, what am I, Mary? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was nuts. And I was so sick.
You were... And so now you have this like 6-month-old baby.
It was horrible.
Oh my God.
I think that was like the worst. I was sick in any of my pregnancies.
Really?
Oh yeah. You're
like,
right.
For how long?
Long time. Almost the entire time. I felt like crap the entire time.
And then you have this tiny baby.
Then I had to tend to the tiny baby.
Was she walking by the time Reagan was born?
Nope.
Oh my God.
She did not walk till she was like close to 16 months.
Yeah.
So
that's
just
crazy.
So I literally had like I was holding 2 babies. It was like having twins.
Yeah.
No, she didn't walk. She didn't even sit up until she was probably like 10 months. That kid just laid there, I'm telling you. She was just like this little marshmallow. She just does what she wants.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So.
And they're super different, right?
So different.
Yeah.
Like Reagan is my sweetheart and Jane is just Reagan wasn't always the sweetheart, but Jane's just wild.
Just independent.
So independent.
Yeah.
And then Olivia was nothing like either one of them.
Oh really?
She was just perfect.
Yeah.
I swear, she was like the most perfect baby,
the
most perfect child. And everyone just wanted to be around Olivia. There was never a hard moment with her. I think only once I had this moment where I'm like, what is going on with my child? I was at Target.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get her out of the store. She was like literally screaming. She wanted like a Slurpee or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, telling her, no, like, let's get out of here. I could not get her out of Target. And
how old was
we
she?
Walked there. At the time, she was probably 4.
Yeah.
And I had no car. And it's like, I'm taking this screaming child. I was so embarrassed. Like, I picked her up and she's like kicking and screaming. And I like had to call my dad. Dad.
So you're like 21.
Yeah. And these people are probably looking at me like, what is she doing with that kid anyway? And I had to walk home. Like, I didn't have a car. So it's not like I could just carry her out to the car. Yeah. I cannot carry her home.
Oh my God.
And so that was like the hardest moment I had with her.
And for some people, that's like an everyday occurrence.
Everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Jane on a daily basis. Oh, yeah. So
Oh.
they're all so completely different.
Yeah. That's funny. Did you ever experience any like postpartum or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
With who?
All of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had a really hard time with that. With Olivia, it was a little different. Jane, I didn't want to go back to work. I was like, I want to be home. I think that really set me off, was like, I don't want to work. And so that was hard for me. And so when I had Reagan, it was like the colic and my husband's job and having to juggle 2 babies and a 9-year-old, well, 8 at the time. So that, I think, was the hardest, because Olivia doesn't want to do what the babies want to do.
Yeah.
And the babies don't want to do what Olivia wants to do.
Yeah.
And so that was hard.
Yeah.
And even with her soccer stuff, It's already been so tough going to practice and bringing them. And so yesterday I was like, you know what I can start doing? Strapping them in the stroller and go exercise.
Yeah.
Go walk around. Go
That's
do something. Idea. So yesterday was my first day of that. I walked for an entire hour.
And did they just stay in the
They
stroller?
just sat there, yeah. And they like the stroller. So I'm like, this is what I need to start doing.
Yeah.
Because usually practice is so hard because they're running all around trying to go catch the balls. And I'm like, don't. Well, Jane is.
Yeah.
And then Reagan just kind of tries to follow. But
Is she walking?
yeah, she's walking now.
She's 1. She turned 1.
Yeah, June.
Okay,
June.
so just
Yeah,
a month. Yeah.
Jeez.
Crazy. And then so that means Jane is 2 now?
Yeah. Jane turned 2 in May. Reagan was supposed to be a July baby, but I had her early. I had her 3 weeks early. They induced me.
Oh, how come?
So I went in for just my regular appointment. Oh wait, no, I was getting tested. So stress tests.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So I went for my stress test, and I was so used to it because I had him with Jane, and they were just monitoring me for Reagan because they're like, she's not like gaining anything, like you're not gaining anything. There's not a whole lot of fluid, and blah blah blah. Let's test you, or let's stress test you. I'm like, I've already been through this. Well, I went, and I just kind of asked them like, so if you're so concerned that she's not getting the nutrients she needs, then why are you like inducing me? I'm 37 weeks.
This baby.
Let's have this baby.
Yeah.
Like, you're making it sound like she's 4 pounds, like tiny. They made it sound like she was like this tiny little thing that's not getting the food she needs, and so I'm not giving it to her. There's something wrong with the placenta. Basically, it could be something wrong with the placenta. Okay, then why aren't we taking action? Like, you know she's okay. And so she was like, well, I'm gonna send you to labor and delivery. And I was like, okay. So I went over to labor and delivery. They strapped the thing on me again. They monitored my contractions. I wasn't even having any, but they put that thing on me.
Yeah.
And they came into the room, and they're like, you know what? You're right. We know this baby is safe, and it could be a safe delivery. We are going to induce you
right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, when? They're like, right now. You're not being released. Like, I could not leave at that point. And I was so mad because there was a little farmer's market going on. And I remember, like, when we come back out, I'm going to buy those flowers over there. Yeah. And, yeah, so they kept me. Ended up being, I don't know, like almost 24 hours later. Yeah.
So did they give you Pitocin or break your water?
They gave me this really weird thing. It was like one of those.
The balloon?
Yeah. It was awful.
Okay, I didn't get it, but they explained it to me. They were like, we might have to do this.
Oh my gosh,
But then I went in and I was already 5 centimeters, so they were like, we don't have to because they only do it if you're like less than 2, I think it was, or.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I was less than 2. I wasn't even dilated.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I'm telling you, do not get the balloon. And the nurse comes in, does all my paperwork, all this stuff. It's all cute at the time. And so my husband's like, I'm starving because we hadn't even eaten yet. We were supposed to go on a date that morning. Like, the babysitter was with Jane. Oh. Yeah. And him and I were going to go to my doctor's appointment, go on a little nice breakfast date. Yeah, so we didn't even eat.
It was the morning.
It was in the morning.
Just picturing it like
it was in the morning. Yeah. And he was complaining about how hungry he is, and he's getting upset because he's so hungry. You know how they are. Like, sometimes I skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I don't have time to eat, or I eat Doritos, whatever. But
7 a.m. Yeah.
He's complaining. The nurse is like, okay, well, you can go run and get food. I was like, okay. She's like, I am gonna have to give you this. I don't even know the name for it, but the balloon. Is it called balloon? I don't know.
That's what she called it.
Yeah. And so she was explaining it to me, and I'm like, you need to hurry because I need you here for this. I need you. It sounds painful. And so it was so painful. And so he leaves to go get food because she was like, oh yeah, you have time. It's gonna be a while till I start it. I gotta do all this, paperwork and all this stuff and blah blah blah. 2.5 hours later, they had to do it. They couldn't wait any longer. Yeah. They were like, we need to get this inside you.
Oh, I would have.
I was pissed. And so they were like,
where did he go? Fucking Chico for lunch?
No, this is what he did. He went home to get the freaking diaper bag and all that stuff. Whatever. Yeah. He gets in and out, but then decides to pick up Olivia to get in and out with him, and then take Olivia back and then played with the kids for a little bit, packed his stuff. Yeah.
Just took it
Yeah.
time, yeah.
So when he came back, I'm like, it's already done.
Yeah.
Like, you missed it all. Sorry to get food. I'm like, that's not all you did. You did not have to do all that.
Yeah.
You missed it. And so, yeah,
and so you were just alone going
I was
through that.
alone, and I was so, like, the nurse knew that I was so mad.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I just thought he was going to go down the street and get food. She said, because she's like, oh yeah, you have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Not knowing what his real intentions were.
Right.
And so,
I just want to ask because she explained it like barely, and I was like, lady, you do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
To get this thing out of me.
Yeah.
But she was like, so it's like this, like a pump sort of thing, and they put it in you and just like basically like squeeze it, and it just like dilates you.
Mm-hmm.
Stretches
That's
you.
exactly what it is. Yep. Ouch. And then I literally got up to use the restroom and came right out. I was like, oh, guess I'm dilated. It didn't take very long either for me.
Oh, okay. So they just put it in there and it does it on its own.
It doesn't.
And
Oh
then
yeah,
it
I'm
comes
sorry.
out when it's done.
It does it on its own. I think it's
like,
a balloon though.
or something.
Yeah. I don't. You can't feel it.
Oh, you can't. It just hurts.
Well, it
It's
hurts.
like crampy.
It's cramping, yes. And then it literally just comes out, but it is a balloon. So
Oh.
I didn't even watch honestly because I was like holding on to the thing, and
Yeah.
the nurse was like holding my hand because my husband wasn't here to hold my hand, and it hurt bad.
The
and that
whole
was
time? I heard the whole time, or just when they put it in?
Oh, and they put it in and like a little bit after, but
Okay.
when it came right out, it didn't hurt.
Oh.
At that point,
Yeah.
your body's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was the only time in my pregnancies that I was induced.
Uh-huh.
Because Jane came literally so quick. She like slipped out almost.
Yeah.
Because I was out the night before I went in because I thought my water broke.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I swore my water broke.
Yeah.
And my husband and I went to labor and delivery, and they're like, we don't see anything, you know.
And I was
I'm
like,
like, I'm like, I swear my water broke.
yeah.
Well, you next time bring your nightgown. And I'm like, what the, like, who thinks to
They
bring
have to,
their
like,
damn
check
nightgown? Yeah. And so they're gonna squeeze out my nightgown, and I'm like, okay. And so whatever.
Yeah.
I went home. My poor husband had to go to work the next day, and so my mom was like, you are gonna stay with me tonight because I'm afraid if this happens and he's not home, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. And so I stayed with my mom the entire night. I was like texting Michael. He's like, why are you awake? I was like, I have contractions. Like, I'm contracting. And he's like, okay, well, you can try and get some sleep. I'm like, I'm trying, but I can't sleep. And so the next morning I woke up, I took a shower, and I went out to sit on the couch, and my mom just kind of looks at me. She's like, something doesn't look right. You don't look okay. And I'm like, well, I'm contracting. I'm tired. And then she's like, how far along are they? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Like, in the middle of the night, like, come, go away, come. So they were pretty far apart. And at this point, my stepdad gets out his cell phone. He's like writing down, okay, what are you contracting? They were like a minute apart.
Yeah.
So close. And my mom's like, we need to get you to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad I was with my mom because there's no way I could drive.
Yeah.
At that point,
all of a sudden,
I was like holding on to the little thing, this thing.
Yeah.
Whatever the name is. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't even look. Like I couldn't see anything. My eyes were just closed. It hurt so bad. Got right in. Sure enough, they're like, oh yeah, you are going to have this baby. And so they're like, do you want to be wheeled to the room or do you want to walk? I was like, I need to walk because if I sit down, you know, like I may not get enough walking time and I'm going to be stuck in a bed once I get my epidural and all this stuff, you know.
I was like crying. They were like, you can walk, it's literally around the corner. And I was like, get me a wheelchair.
I needed one, and I could barely walk. And then next thing you know, my husband, he was sleeping because he had just gone off shift that morning. Yeah. So he had gone straight home and went to bed. And so my mom's waking him up, you know, your wife's gonna have the baby. Yeah. We don't know how long it's gonna be, so you might want to get here. Next thing you know, like I'm like in the middle of the hallway, you know, kind of, I'm almost on the ground crawling. And he comes running in, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so had her within 2 hours of being there. Yeah, super quick. So right away I got my epidural. Yeah. And then Olivia, my water just broke, and that was it. Like my water broke. Went to the hospital just fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it didn't hurt. You weren't in pain.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going backwards with like my whole kids and everything,
yeah.
so I apologize.
That's
but
fine.
with Olivia, I woke up that morning and I'm like, I think my water's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't really tell. I don't know.
Yeah.
And my mom was out of town and I'm at home with my dad. And my dad's like, do you want to go to the grocery store with me? So I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? So I get ready, go to the store with him. And I remember texting Justin's mom. And I'm like, how do you know what it's like when your water breaks? And she's like, Brooke, do you think your water broke? Like, if you do, you need to go because you can get like infections and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And then like, I'm like, I think it's broken.
Yeah.
Like, I felt something. And then my phone's like about to die.
Yeah.
I just look at my dad. Dad?
In the grocery store?
Walmart, of all places.
Yeah. Great. Perfect.
Walmart. And I'm like, Dad, I think my water's broken. And I just remember the little grin on his face. He's like holding onto the cart. Well, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Take me to Kaiser.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I went to all
hospital.
I went to all those birthing classes. I did the little tour, so I knew exactly where to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know the name of this one building.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, okay. He's like, but what am I supposed to do with all this stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, just leave it. I don't know.
Yeah, don't put it back.
Right? I was like, just leave it. But of course, he has to walk to the front. So it's around Christmas time, mind you. And we're up at the front. He's like gonna pass off the cart to the little lady that works there.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, ma'am, but I need you to just take this cart. I have to take my daughter to the hospital. I think we're gonna have a baby. And then right away, she has like her little elf ears on. You go have that baby. And this is happening at Walmart. And I'm just kind of like, oh my God, no. Like, oh. So yeah, my water was just broken. I walked right in. I think I might be in labor. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, let's test you. Oh, yep. Your water
see,
broke.
that's what's so annoying is that they're always like, oh, you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know. No, you don't.
You don't know because weird shit happens when you're pregnant.
Especially at the end.
Yeah. And my mom was in the Bay Area at the time, so she wasn't too far.
Yeah.
But she was in like Newark, Oakland area, like down there, so like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
My mom. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
My mom was here like an hour and a half. She's like, oh sweetheart, like I couldn't miss this for the world.
Yeah.
And my mom actually was in the room for all 3 of my babies.
Oh really? Oh wait, yeah. So like, what about Justin?
What about Justin?
With
with all this?
Yeah, with having Olivia, like, did you just? Did he meet you there?
Yeah. Oh, that's what. Okay, so Justin at the time was doing side jobs with his dad up in like literally the middle of nowhere, and barely even had cell service. And so I just remember my mom and like his mom trying to get a hold of his dad or him, like someone answer the phone because you don't know how long it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I think they left for lunch. I don't remember exactly.
Somehow, yeah.
They had service and they got the call. They came right away.
Crazy.
Yeah. So.
I mean, okay. So what was it? I mean, like you're away without cell service when your baby's due in like a day.
Yeah, it was 3 days.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So she was only 3 days early.
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, like what we should do. See, those are things you don't think about when you're a teenager.
No, yeah. Like, I'll be back. You're good, right?
I didn't even think about that. Like, oh, honey, have a great day at work. Yeah, so he did all these like little side gigs up there for this guy. But yeah, he made it. I actually didn't have her for like 26 hours or something. So even after my water broke.
People, I don't know, did that suck? Or were you just like, I feel like it wouldn't.
I was okay with it.
Because people are always like 30 hours of labor, and I'm like, dang. But then you really think about it, and you're like, I mean, especially if you get an epidural, it's not a big deal.
No.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
No, it was nice because I was able to spend like time with him and like his family came, my mom was there, and like before we welcome our baby.
Yeah.
And so that was really
for your
nice.
first. It's just kind of like nice to like really take it all in.
Oh yeah. And so I had her at like noon the next day, and then it's all of a sudden started. Like I started contracting and I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, like I think I feel something. And then right away they came in, oh, it's time to push, honey. And so I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I just remember saying, I don't remember how to breathe. Because you know how they teach you all that breathing stuff, like those techniques?
That thing?
Yeah, I'm
I've
like,
done that
and
now.
we even went to the freaking Lamaze class. Like, him and I did that stuff. I didn't know how to breathe. I'm like, how do I breathe? And so he's so good with Olivia. Like, so good with her. And he's just always been there for her. And
Yeah. They have a great relationship.
Oh, they have a good relationship. She reminds me so much of him.
Really?
But everyone, and I feel like she looks exactly like him.
But
everyone says she looks like me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
She could be my little baby.
I think she has like some features that look like her dad, but I think she looks just like you. Yeah. And then did you date? So you said you did. You dated.
I did.
After you and Jessica broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dated a couple guys. Nothing serious. Well, to me, I thought it would be serious.
Yeah.
I never introduced them to Olivia.
Oh, okay.
I never brought a guy around. Michael was the first guy I brought around Olivia. And so, and actually even that, it took like a couple months for me to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I dated.
Yeah.
he was good.
Yeah.
He would only call me when he wanted rides home from the bar. Yeah. So it was like things like that.
Yeah.
And I started picking up like, dude, I am not gonna do this.
Well,
like,
so will you just throw your baby in the car seat?
yeah. Like, you just come pick me up.
Yeah.
This time my mom was living in the house and my dad had moved out, so it like reversed.
Okay.
My mom was going out more because she was single and my sister was single. They were going out, so I was really home a lot on my own with Olivia. It was just us two. The next guy I dated, I was like, oh, this guy's great. He was like a little older than me. He had a good job. He didn't have any kids. We hung out a lot, and I stopped hearing from him. So it was like 3 weeks I did not hear from him. I'm at work one day and I get a phone call. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, it's so. I'm like, I freaking know who it is.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
Your number saved.
Right? I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm so sorry, but I found out like my ex-girlfriend's pregnant and it's my baby. And I'm kind of like, okay. Well, I want you to help me raise it. Oh, hell no. Like, no.
Wait, who is this again?
Yeah.
I don't have this number.
And I was like a total hypocrite. I always said like I would not date anybody with kids. Like, that's just who I was. And it's like, I know I have my own kid, but I won't date anyone with kids. Yeah.
I get it.
I wouldn't want to deal with someone that, like, how I was.
Yeah.
Like, no. That baby mama drama and all that, like, no. I am not for it, but I will not put myself in that position. At this point, Olivia was, like, 3.
Yeah.
She was old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
No.
That was interesting. So those were my 2 dating experiences. Then finally I was like,
I was like, hi, I just want to treat you nice. And you're like, why?
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
okay, wait, we're getting so on topic, but this is fun. So you're working.
Yeah.
So where do the girls go?
We have a nanny that comes to our house.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How'd you find her?
Yeah, I found her through like babysitting connections through town, and like Lincoln Babysitting Connections, and she's been with us since Jane was first born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's watched both Jane and Reagan. Yeah, and Olivia when she's home for the summer. And things like that.
Olivia a lot of help?
She has a lot of help.
Yeah.
She's a lot of help for me. Like for Michael.
Yeah.
He says they fight a lot.
Oh.
Because it's little things. Like Olivia's watching a show and Jane wants to come over and grab the remote. And Olivia pulls the remote from her.
And then she cries.
And then she cries and screams. It's like World War III is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's little things like that. But for the most part, oh my gosh. Like I don't even have to ask her to help.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell Jane no. Like, no, Jane, no. Olivia will come right over. Mommy said no. Like, you don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I have a little mommy, which sometimes it's hard because I'm like, Olivia,
I got it. Yeah.
I got it. Like, you need to be a kid. And she does this for a lot of people, like anyone that watches her. And it's hard for Olivia to kind of change her mindset because she realizes, like, oh, I need to help my mom.
Yeah.
But it's like, you don't need to help me. I need you to be a kid. Yeah. Like now, Olivia, the other day, I felt so bad. We were at my dad's house and I was in the kitchen getting milk and I just walked into my dad's and I set Reagan down in her little car seat because she's still in the infant car seat because she's so small.
Yeah.
And all I hear is, Mom, I need help, I need help. Well, Olivia had tried getting her out of the car seat And I don't know how this happened. You know how the kids like do that thing where they kick out?
Yeah.
And they just like, yeah. Well, anyway.
And their arms are still in it. So
yeah. Well, Reagan somehow managed to get the whole entire car seat belt wrapped around her neck.
Oh my god.
And Olivia's like, Mom, like, I was just trying to help and get her out. And I was like, I know, like, I'm not mad at you. I said, but I need you to get something. Because, like, I could not get her out of it.
Oh my god.
Like, I could not. It was around her neck. This is like a service announcement for all. Like, please be careful. Because I now think, like, what if I had been in the middle of a park? Or what if I had to cut her out of it. I could not get her out of the car seat. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It was so scary. And
was
like,
she just like freaking out?
Freaking out. Like she was still crying. Like I'm like, okay, she's like,
right.
And it was very short term because obviously I was at my dad's, I had resources. Yeah. But I'm like, what if I didn't have resources? Yeah. Like, oh my gosh.
Because I don't know get her to calm down to like turn her.
I couldn't turn her. I couldn't get the whole strap around her neck. I couldn't loosen it. Like, you know, it wouldn't pull. None of that. Yeah, she was literally choking.
Oh my god.
And luckily, like, I was like, Olivia, no, you did the right thing. But she felt so bad. Like, it's all my fault and this and that. I'm like, no, like, you did the right thing. Like, you came to me.
Yeah.
You told me. We found a solution.
So do you want more?
No.
You're done.
I'm done. Yeah. For sure. Like, I kind of threw around the idea of possibly wanting more. Like, maybe a fourth. I really want a boy. I really do. But at this point, like, by the time I have my next kid, I would not want them. Or, I mean, it'd probably be about 3 years. And by then...
the gaps.
Yeah. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, so... I think we made the decision not to. Because it was kind of tossed up in the air. Yeah, so no more for us. But I'm excited because my friends are having babies. Well, my friend... Kelly. And so, yep. Yeah. So I can hold on to her.
And she's having a boy.
Or him. Yeah. And her, I guess. She's having a boy. And I'm so excited. I just wish she lived closer. But whenever she's home, it's like we're together. Yeah. All the time. Like one time she came home and it was when Reagan was going through her like super colic phase. I reached out to Kelly all the time. Like, I am having such a hard time, or this is what's going on in my life. Like, she is just my go-to girl. Like, all my little girlfriends. Yeah. And I like I'll call them little girlfriends. Little girlfriends. Well, they are. She came home, and she insisted when she was home, because Michael was working, you drop them off with me. I'm going to pay for you to get a massage, pay for you to get a pedicure, and I want you to just take that time, and I want you to relax. Like, you need it.
So before you leave, I'm gonna get Kelly's number.
Yes, seriously. She was just always there, and like Bree, she's always been there. Her husband, Bree invited me to go get a massage with her, and I'm like, oh, like I really wish I could, but Michael has to sleep because he gets off shift in the morning. Yeah. Nick will watch him. I'm like, what? Yeah. Nick will watch them. Oh yeah, he volunteered. He'll do it. So Nick watched
all three girls.
Like almost, I don't even know how old Reagan was, but not that old. But I think it was when she was going through her like little phase. Yeah. And then, not Olivia, but he watched.
Well, I mean, three as in Kennedy,
Jane, and Reagan, and he owned it. Like he was so good. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then.
So again, I'll need Bree's number too.
Yeah, you need Bree's number because you need Nick.
Okay. Michael and Olivia, how is their relationship? Because I remember your wedding video, and I was like, the cutest thing I've ever seen. So it seems like they have a great relationship. How are they today?
Amazing.
Good.
Like I'm so fortunate to have him help me raise Olivia. Even tonight he texts me, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, I don't care. Because well, Olivia's really upset that we had steak the other night without her. And I'm like, well, we don't have Olivia tonight. She's going with her dad. And he's like, well, can you pick her up later so I can make her steak? Oh. She called her dad and had asked if she can come stay at her house because she wants some steak. But it's like Michael influenced her to like, you know.
He wanted to give her steak.
He wanted to give Olivia what she wants.
Yeah.
So they're so good together. Like we surprised her with a trip to Disneyland and he pretty much planned the entire thing. Just little things like being there for her first day of school or he helps with school. He's like a pro soccer dad, like almost like a soccer mom. Yeah. But he chauffeurs the girls to soccer. We take 4 girls to soccer, and so it requires him taking the babies because I'm at work, Olivia, and then he has to go pick up each girl from their house and get them to soccer on time, stay there while they play, and come home. But we all kind of help each other. Like, I have a little mom tribe.
Yeah.
And, like, one lady does Tuesdays, I do Wednesdays, and sometimes help out on Thursdays.
Yeah.
But he does Wednesdays because I sometimes can't get there on time.
Yeah.
So, things like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, I always try and say, like, I hope it's not a burden to you, or, you know, but he's like, I want to do this.
Aww.
Like, these
Yeah.
are things I want to do. And so he's always been so good with her.
I'm just gonna put it out there that if I was in your position, like, I would not be fun to be married to at all. Like, I'd be a bitch.
Yeah.
And I know that about myself because I'm one now,
Yeah.
and the computer doesn't even do that. Yeah. And then you have two so close together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that just sounds like a lot. So do you feel like you, like, went through a rough patch and it's better?
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, super rough. And it lasted years. When, like, Justin started dating,
Mm-hmm.
that brought on a lot of stress, like, with my relationship with him
With Justin.
and my relationship with my husband.
Okay.
Because I was, like, so upset about it.
Yeah.
But why am I upset?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I felt like maybe, like, it was like a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my position was being replaced.
Yeah.
And but that was my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. Like, there was no threat. I'm here, I'm mom.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been an absent mother.
Right.
And that brought on a lot of issues, like, with my relationship with Justin, or both Justin and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Michael started working more hours and, like, working nights, and when he was out of the academy, that was hard. And there was a point where I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to work. Am I strong enough for this?
Yeah.
Am I, but what's my alternative?
Yeah.
And so him and I went through a really rough patch. It was like, after I had Jane,
Mm-hmm.
beginning of Reagan, and it was really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't sure if it was going to work.
Yeah.
We both weren't sure if it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And people probably saw, like, oh my gosh, this awesome couple and this and that. And it's not always rainbows and butterflies. But it really took me changing my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only did I have, like, these personal issues, but I guess there are personal issues, like, a lot of insecurities.
Yeah.
Like, doubting myself as a mom when I shouldn't. Doubting myself because I'm working, like, when I shouldn't be, and I should be home with my kids, because you always hear, you should be home with your kids. You shouldn't work.
Yeah.
So-and-so's baby did this when they were this young, but why isn't yours doing that? It's like things like that. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Olivia has 2 different houses. She has 2 different schedules. Like, she's able to do this here and this here.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like, even Michael to this day, like, really understands, like, that I feel for Olivia. Because she does have it good. Because she has a loving mom, a loving dad, and she has everything she wants.
Yeah.
But it's the transition of going from one home to another. Like, she has 2 of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I never had that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I never had that. My parents split up when I was almost an adult.
Yeah.
Still a child, but 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that I still kind of hold on to that a little bit. Like, when I'm trying to make a point, I always bring up, well, Olivia has it kind of different. You know, like, I feel for her. I feel bad for her. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
like,
it totally does.
I always kind of go back to that. So
Yeah.
it's like things like that, but I defend her more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
so it's been rough, and it's like I said, like, my insecurities. It's not
Yeah.
only that, but just like my image.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think as any female, like,
Totally.
we have problems, like, especially with social media. It's like we're always comparing ourselves, or always doing that, and it's like I'm huge. Like, I am so bad about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh man, I want to look like that. Like, I've been running
I'm
4
so
times
bad.
this week, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't lost any weight yet. But it's like, do I really need to lose weight? Or do I see that picture and think that I need to lose weight? And that's something that I definitely, struggle with. And it's affected relationships.
Yeah.
And it's affected relationships with Justin and his ex-girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, there came a point where I'm like, I need to stop being that, what do you call it, mother, baby mama drama girl. Like, I am not that person. And, like, I'm not usually a mean person.
Yeah.
But I think I was just so caught up in everything. Like,
did she understand where it was coming from?
I think so.
Like, not take it personally, just know, like,
I think
she
so.
has to be feeling this type of way, not because of
Yeah.
me, but because,
Yeah.
because, I mean, I say this a lot, I'm a crazy person, and I have, you know, like, my husband and I are married, and there's not, like, an opportunity that he's gonna have someone else, but, like, I put myself there before. I'm like, what if, because you just do that, you know, I'm like, what if this didn't work out? And he started dating, and then immediately it's like, nope, no, like, I can't even imagine. So it's not even him. I'm like,
no, it's not even him.
No,
it has
like,
nothing to do with him.
No, I'm like, just don't even talk to my kids. Don't even say hi to him. You know? Like,
it's like, you're such a protector. You're mama bear. Like,
and it is. You're right. It is insecurities.
It's insecurities. And it's like,
so you have to, like, find it. And I saw. Okay, so I didn't know if I was gonna bring this up or not, because I know they're not together anymore. But I remember seeing a post on. I didn't even know she was dating him. And then one day she posted a picture, like, with him and you and Olivia, and she, like, wrote this nice thing, and I was like, that is so cool. Yeah. But, like, what people don't see is that it took you a long time to get there.
It took me a long time. It's like, I really, really respected her as a person, but it took me a long time to get there. Yeah. She was so good with Olivia, and Olivia felt so loved. And what can I do to help with Olivia? It was always, she was there. Olivia's gymnastics performance. Hey, would you like to go with me? She went with me. Like, I invited her and Justin over for dinner. Like, hey, let's have a dinner together. Yeah. And it was, like, little things to make it feel like a family. And, like, we all got along. And I was devastated when they broke up. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Like, part of me was like, okay, well, I want him to do what's right for him. Yeah. Because I want him to be happy, and I want what's best for Olivia. Like, if he's not happy, what's best for Olivia? Right. But it broke my heart, because I'm like, I liked her. Yeah. And it's like, I felt finally like we have a connection. But I think a lot of people thought it was always maybe like that. I don't know. But it wasn't always like that. I was kind of harsh sometimes. Yeah. But I feel like what any mom would do. So. Yeah. So how was he when you started dating Michael? How was their relationship? I asked him first if I could introduce Olivia to him out of respect. Because I wouldn't want someone introduced to Olivia without that you hadn't met consent. Or whatever. Well, yeah. Like, ask me, but sometimes it doesn't go both ways. But I asked him, and he was like, sure. Like, do you think he's going to stick around? And I was like, well, I have a feeling, but yeah. Because like I said, I had dated previously. I never introduced those guys to Olivia. Yeah. And then here I am wanting to. So right away they got along, and still till this day, like when they see each other at soccer. So it's good. Yeah. Yeah. That's nice. Cool. So that's kind of me. I feel like I was all over the place, but I feel like my life is all over the place. Yeah. Like some days I'm just kind of like, okay, what's today going to bring me? Yeah. What's today going to look like? Juggling all these different things. And what I really wanted to bring up was like the whole colic problem, like what you went through and I went through. Yeah. And like I was saying, that was like a really trying time in my life. Yeah. Where it damaged my relationship. Yes. And I didn't feel connected with my baby. And I think as a mom, that's really hard to like put yourself in those shoes. Like, you don't feel connected with your baby. Yeah, I mean, saying it, nobody's gonna understand unless they've been through it. I didn't. Yeah. Like, I was like, where's my receipt? Like, can I return her? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I ended up I would never do anything to harm my child. Yeah. I would return her. I just want people to know, and I if you ever go through this again, reach out, because I wish I had more resources. Totally. And I wish I had someone that I could call at 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, I am so upset right now. I don't know what to do. I've been listening to a screaming baby for 14 hours. I'm exhausted. I need help. Like, just talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just wish there were more resources out there for that. And I feel like that if someone were to come to me with that, I'd be a great one.
Yeah.
Because I
get it.
I get it, and I wish I had that.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Yeah.
I really try to like change the way like we eat in the house. I know that sounds crazy.
No. Yeah.
But like we ate out a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
And I put on like 10 pounds in less than a year. I think. I don't know if my scale's accurate.
Yeah. They never.
But I seriously put on, and I can feel it and I can see it.
Yeah.
And the energy level and all that. So I've really tried to watch what I eat. So like making little changes like that have really changed my mindset.
Yeah.
Because I'm like trying to look for a goal.
Yeah.
And little things like walking. Let me find something that makes me mentally feel good.
Yeah.
And so he's on a diet himself. He's lost like 11 pounds. Feels great. And so we both kind of tried to make those small changes. And honestly, I think the whole me trying not to control everything, me changing my eating habits, and me doing something that I like to do, which is working out. Like, I used to work out all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in the gym with my dad. I worked out all throughout high school. I played sports.
Yep.
I can't even run a 7-minute mile anymore. And it's like, but you know what? Small changes. So me just getting out there and doing this, like walking and running, I feel so good. So mentally, I think that's helped. And me apologizing to people for my behavior, like my husband's friends and stuff like that. Like, I haven't always been the kindest. Because, like I said, I had that controlling, like, you need to be home with the kids, you're married and this and that. But it's like, I'm coming to terms still till this day. Like, you don't need to control that. If he wants to be with you, he's gonna be with you. He married you, he had kids with you. But at the same time, we go back to like, but what if? So, but apologizing to those people and coming to terms with it's gonna be okay.
Just kind of like taking ownership and saying.
Taking ownership, absolutely. That's the right word for it. Because I feel like that's one of my weaknesses. Because I don't like to
admit that you're wrong or something.
Oh, no, never. Never have, never will. Ask my mom. That's my life.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much. I've had so much fun talking about all of this. I feel like we could talk forever. But, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe.